Hello, welcome to DeepDownBooks. Take a deep breath and find a quiet place. We are glad you are here with us today. Let us relax and practice your English together. I woke up late this morning. My alarm clock did not ring. The room was very quiet. I looked at the small clock next to my bed. The time was already 8 o'clock. I felt a little worried. Usually I wake up at 7 o'clock. I jumped out of my warm bed quickly. My feet touched the cold floor. I went to the bathroom and washed my face with cold water. The water felt fresh. I looked in the mirror. I told myself that everything would be okay. I went back to my room and put on my favorite blue shirt. I put on my brown trousers. I looked for my socks. I found them under the chair. I put on my shoes and tied the laces carefully. I grabbed my bag from the table. I checked inside my bag. My keys were there. My wallet was there. My phone was there. I did not have time for breakfast. I did not have time to make coffee. I felt a little hungry, but I had to go. I ran out of the door and locked it. I walked fast down the stairs. I reached the street. The sun was warm on my face. The sky was blue with no clouds. I walked fast to the bus stop. I could see the bus stop at the end of the long street. Then I saw the big blue bus. It was already there. It was waiting for people. I started to run. My bag was heavy on my shoulder. I waved my hand in the air. I wanted the driver to see me. But the doors closed with a soft sound. The bus drove away slowly. I stood on the sidewalk and watched it go. I saw the back of the bus get smaller and smaller. I was alone at the bus stop now. I felt a little sad. I sat down on the wooden bench. The bench was hard. I looked at my watch. The next bus was not coming for 1 hour. 1 hour is a long time to wait. I looked at the trees across the street. The leaves were moving in the wind. I heard a bird singing in a tree nearby. I looked at the birds. There were 3 small brown birds. They were looking for food. I thought about my options. I could go back home and wait inside, but my home felt too quiet now. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to go to the city to meet my friends. I remembered a small path behind the big park. I know that path well. That path leads to the train station. The train station is not very far if you walk through the park. I decided to walk. It was a beautiful day for a long walk. I stood up from the bench. I felt better because I had a plan. I started walking toward the park entrance. The gates of the park were open. I entered the park. The grass was green and very fresh. I could smell the flowers. There were yellow flowers and red flowers near the gate. I saw a cat sitting on a wooden fence. The cat was black and white. It had green eyes. The cat looked at me and moved its long tail. I smiled at the cat. The cat did not move. I kept walking. Walking was much better than sitting on a hard bench. I felt the fresh air in my lungs. I felt my legs moving. I felt strong. I was not in a hurry anymore. The city was still there. My friends were still there. They would wait for me. I walked past a small lake in the middle of the park. The water was very still. I saw a white duck swimming slowly. The duck looked very peaceful. I stopped for a minute to watch the water. There were small circles in the water. I took a deep breath. I felt very calm. I continued walking on the stone path. I saw an old man sitting on a bench. He was reading a newspaper. He looked up and nodded his head at me. I said hello. He smiled. People are very kind when the sun is shining. I reached the other side of the park. I could see the tall buildings of the train station. I reached the station after 15 minutes of walking. My legs felt warm from the exercise. I went inside the station. It was big and noisy. I liked the sound of the station. I went to the big orange machine to buy a ticket. I pressed the button slowly. The machine gave me a paper ticket. It was small and square. I held the ticket in my hand. I looked at the big screen on the wall. The next train to the city was coming in 5 minutes. That was perfect timing. I walked to platform number 4. I stood behind the yellow line. I waited quietly. I looked at the other people on the platform. A woman was reading a book. A young boy was eating an apple. Everyone was waiting for the same thing. Then I heard a loud sound. The train was coming. It was a long silver train. It stopped in front of me. The doors opened with a loud hiss. I stepped inside the train. It was cool and clean inside. I found a seat by the big window. I put my bag on the floor next to my feet. The train started to move. At first it moved slowly. Then it moved faster and faster. I watched the houses pass by. I watched the green gardens pass by. I saw a dog running in a yard. I saw a woman hanging clothes on a line. I realized that missing the bus was a good thing. If I caught the bus, I would be sitting in traffic now. I would be looking at the back of a car. But now I was on a train. I was seeing the back of the city. I was seeing the trees and the birds. It gave me a moment to be quiet. It gave me a moment to see the world differently. Sometimes life is very fast. We try to be on time every day. We worry about minutes. But sometimes we miss our goal. And that is okay, because there is always another way to get there. Sometimes the second way is better than the first way. The train reached the big city station. The station was very busy. Many people were getting off the train. I stepped onto the platform and felt happy. I walked out of the station and into the city light. The buildings were very tall here. I could hear the cars and the people talking. I walked down the main street. The shops were just opening their doors. I saw a baker putting fresh bread in the big glass window. The bread was golden brown. The smell of the bread was wonderful. It was the best smell in the world. I realized I was very hungry because I did not eat breakfast. I stopped at the bakery. It was a small shop with a red door. I went inside. A bell rang when I opened the door. The baker was a tall man with a white apron. He smiled at me. I asked for one small piece of bread. He gave it to me in a white paper bag. The bread was very warm in my hands. I paid the man and said thank you. I went back outside. I ate the bread while I walked. It tasted sweet and fresh. The street was becoming very busy now. Many people were walking to their offices. They were wearing suits and carrying bags. Some people were talking fast on their phones. They looked like they were in a hurry. Others were looking at their feet while they walked. I felt different today. I was not looking at my phone. I was not looking at my feet. I was looking at the buildings. I saw the old stone walls. I saw the beautiful windows. I saw a small fountain in a quiet square. The water in the fountain was clear and bright. It made a splashing sound. I sat by the water for a minute. The water felt cool. I watched a small bird fly down to drink from the fountain. It stayed for a second and then flew away. I thought about my morning. My plan changed when I missed that bus. I thought missing the bus was a big problem. I felt stressed at the bus stop. But it was not a problem at all. It was a chance to walk through the park. It was a chance to see the white duck. It was a chance to visit the bakery. It was a chance to sit by this fountain. I felt very lucky. I stood up and stretched my arms. I felt full of energy. I continued my walk to the office. I knew the way well. I turned left at the big clock. I turned right at the blue sign. I found the office where my friends were waiting for me. I opened the door and went inside. My friends were sitting at a table. They looked up and saw me. They were happy to see me. I told them I was sorry for being late. I told them about my morning. I told them about the bus and the train and the park. They laughed and said I looked very relaxed. They said that usually I look tired in the morning. I told them that the walk was much better than the bus. We started our work together. We talked and we shared ideas. The sun was shining through the big window all day. It was a simple day. Nothing big happened. But it was a special day for me. I learned an important lesson. I learned that small changes can be good. I learned that being late is okay sometimes. We do not need to be perfect. The most important thing is how we feel during the journey. We should enjoy the walk. We should look at the trees. We should breathe the air. Life is beautiful when we take our time. I felt very calm when I went home that evening. I took the bus home. I sat by the window. I watched the lights of the city. I thought about the next day. Maybe I will wake up early. Or maybe I will wake up late. Either way, it will be a good day. I am happy with my life. I am happy with my journey. Thank you for listening and practicing today. You did a wonderful job. If this felt helpful, you can subscribe and practice with us every day. We hope you have a peaceful day. Goodbye for now.